Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the R&D show. We're your hosts. I'm Shaud.
I'm Ryan.
And you're and you're tuned into the R&D show. You see what happens when you just go too fast, and you're welcome to the R&D show. Yeah, and to the R&D show.
I don't know.
Listen, my mind is racing. There's a lot going on in my mind, so bear with me. But welcome. We haven't seen y'all in a minute, and we want to make sure that we are intentional about getting in here and starting a new segment. Love and marriage. Huntsville is back.
Okay.
And so, of course, we're going to be reviewing and recapping each episode. So we're going to call our Mondays Melody Mondays, because majority of the show is melody driven.
What do they call them? Millimeters?
Right.
So millimeters.
I'm getting that, but we're going to call it Melody Mondays. And we're going to dive right into Love and Marriage. Huntsville, season 8 premiered on Saturday. We did watch, and we have some thoughts.
Yeah, we got some thoughts on it.
We have some thoughts.
They dove right into the heat of things, the drama between Melody and Martel, and the domestic violence accusations, and Martel being arrested. Well, I mean, how do you feel about that? Just getting right into the heat of things.
I think it's important to understand context of the situation, and there's always 3 sides to every story. One side, the other side, and the truth. And it's very interesting because you're always good at saying everybody has their own version of what happened. Mm-hmm. And I think what they did was they gave us each version of what happened. So they did a back and forth between Melody talking to her brother and Martel talking to his mom. And what people have to understand, even the cast, even Martel, even his mom, is this didn't recently happen. She didn't just go recently and file a report about being harassed through text messages. This happened a while ago. And sometimes when you go and you do things like this, police don't immediately react. And as he was even saying himself, he went to go pick up a document. And when he picked up that document, that's when he found out he had a warrant out for his arrest. So it wasn't like, oh, this just happened out of nowhere. She wanted to be evil. She wanted to be bitter, or she wanted to prove a point, and then boom. For every action, there's a reaction. And it probably took some time for her to even get to that point to be like, you know what? He keeps sending me certain types of text messages. He's also in person. He's also doing certain things, and I just don't feel safe.
He's threatening to release something, like a tape, a videotape. They didn't say what it was on the actual show, but we all know that it's probably something referring to like maybe a sex tape or something to make her look bad, like she's doing something with another man, like she was cheating on him. Like that's a crime. You can't release like footage of someone having sex without their permission. That's a crime.
And also, nobody wants to be continuously harassed through, even if it is a text message, any type of communication, verbal communication, physical. Nobody wants to have to deal with that on a consistent basis. So at some point, you have to protect your peace, right? You got to protect yourself in general and go to the authorities and handle it the most professional and or legal way that you can, so that you don't put yourself in harm's danger, and also so that you don't react out of anger in a negative way.
And as well as there are consequences to action.
Absolutely.
And sometimes people feel they're immune to consequences, so they keep doing the same behavior till something like this happens. So I think for Melody, it was hopefully a call to change for Martel. I know people say, why would you send the father of your kids to jail? I get it, because he needs something to cause him to self-reflect and to change his behavior. And he threatened to release some information and a video of her, and he'd been doing other things to her. So she needed to do that.
And since you touched on that, I'll never understand anyone, man, woman, I don't care who you are, making excuses for someone else. It doesn't matter if it's the mother or the father. if you are being violent in any type of way, if you are showing me that you're capable of doing certain things to either hurt, harm, put my life in danger, or to even just try to destroy my reputation, I have, by any means necessary, I have all, authority to do what I have to do to protect myself, period. So regardless of, so I didn't like that scene with Nell, telling Stormy, why would you send the father of your kids to jail? Because that's where he needed to be at. Like, you have to understand the history, and she should know better than anybody. Her and her husband have, tried to mentor them. They have been in the midst of what's going on. I mean, there's a season where they did a scene with them and they got really, heated, and Melanie, I mean, they seen all of the explosive stuff happen. So to even try to make an excuse as to why she had to go to the extent that she did, I didn't like that. I just felt like, yeah, she came back and tried to clean it up in her confessional. It was like, well, you never know. But I feel like that should have been your initial response. It shouldn't have been, why would you, based off of, because I feel like if you can talk about it, then you should talk about it. Clearly, if they could have talked about it, he wouldn't have been sending what he was sending and doing what he was doing, and she would have reacted.
They've been talking about it. They've been talking about it for years and years and years. And she's concerned about Martel's reputation, but she should be equally concerned about Melody's reputation. He was threatening to do something to make her look bad.
Right.
So his action has a consequence, should have a consequence. Absolutely. And going to jail was the consequence.
Any of us should. Like, if somebody is sending me threatening messages or threatening just in general, I have a choice to make. Either I can react the same way and or worse, or I can try to go and protect myself. I just have a friend who was dealing with something similar, and my best advice was to do what you have to do legally first, so that just in case something does happen, you have all this stuff in writing. You've done that part, you've gotten the police involved, and this person didn't stop. Because people don't understand that this is sometimes where it starts at. I think about the young lady that was in Baltimore who just recently lost her life to the hands of her ex-boyfriend. And as he met up with her at the apartment complex in the parking lot, out of nowhere he comes and she's like, I have a restraining order against you. Like, why are you here? You're not supposed to be nowhere. He then takes out a gun and shoots her 4 times. Wow. Knowing that there's a restraining order in place. So to think about the fact that if she had some type of protection, right, and he approached her, she could have defended herself because she did what she needed to do already. She put these legal things in place to try to protect her, and if it didn't work and he still came, then hey, this is what I had to do to defend myself. So with Melody having, the paper trail, doing the work the right way when it comes to the legal part, if Martel was to react in a certain type of way, yes, I did what I had to do, and you guys already knew that this was going on. So it's a form of protecting yourself, and that's what I told my friend. Like, yeah, I know that this person is still reaching out and doing negative things and still harassing, but if they did decide to pull up on you, you have all means to do what you have to do to protect yourself.
Yeah, I agree. And you have to go the legal route, as well as you have to make sure you do whatever you need necessary to protect yourself outside of the legal route. Because sometimes when you file these protective custodies or these, what do you call them? When you're restraining orders, it can be a trigger for that person.
Absolutely.
And so you also need to make sure that you're doing what you need to protect yourself. I had a similar instance, and I tried to file a restraining order. The judge says the best thing you can do is to protect yourself. If that person's already not abiding by the law, don't think a restraining order is going to keep them from doing it. But a restraining order is helpful, so when you do have to respond, there's evidence of what's happened. Absolutely. So it can be self-defense. And you try to go the legal route, but you also need to do things to protect yourself. You saw Melody doing those type of things by having security at her home. So you got to go both routes. Do what you need to protect yourself, as well as do what you need legally to protect yourself as well.
And also, at the end of the day, we also seen her say, I just want him to get better. I just want him to do better. I want him to be a good, good man, a good dad. Like, that's it. So she's not out to get him or hurt him in a negative way. What she wants is just peace all across the board, because we've been together for such a long time. We were married. We have these children. why shouldn't we be able to co-parent in a healthy, positive way?
But the problem is when you have friends and you have family members that are not giving you objective advice, they're giving you very subjective advice, not calling you to step up, to be a man, or to see the other side of the story, just reiterating your position as Martel's mother was, then it's tough to grow because everyone is just telling you what you want to hear. And so, you got to get around people who are going to be willing to tell you the truth, how they see it, and just try to push you to grow. And sometimes people want to keep you in that same space, so they might not tell you the truth because they want to keep you where you are.
Exactly.
Broken, hurt, delusional.
Very delusional. It was tough watching that scene because this was her opportunity to hold her son accountable. You know what I mean?
But the thing about it is difficult because that's her son, and so he's a reflection of her. And so she would have enough security to take herself out of the situation and to give him objective advice. But she seems like I don't know if she's secure enough for that because she feels as if it's going to make her look bad. And she might not be strong enough for that. I mean, secure enough for that.
That scene was just tough to watch.
It was hard.
Because all you are doing is you're promoting the trauma and drama, and you're also giving him permission to think that his stance is okay. Like he's right in the stance that he's taking, instead of holding him accountable and being like, well, son, what did you do for us to get to this point? Like, what part did you play? Because accountability is important. Yeah, you can be supportive, but you also have to be supportive in a way where you're holding people accountable for their actions, right? So two things can be true. Yes, I can support you, but I can also hold you accountable. So you didn't just get picked up and have to call me to come and get the kids because you were going to jail for no reason. What did you do for it to happen? And what did you learn from this? And how can you grow from this? And how can you be better? Because as a woman, I'm pretty sure she knows how Melody feels. I'm pretty sure she also has experienced some things similar to Melody as well. So you should be able to empathize with this woman and why she felt the need to protect herself in a certain type of way, and why she went and, filed charges for you harassing her and things of that nature. But instead, you're just choosing to, and I'm not saying you can't choose your son, but there's a lot of love in correcting someone's negative behavior and actions. There's a lot of love in holding people accountable. Like, how dare I not, one thing that I'm good at when it comes to, intervening when it comes to like the things that my son may or may not have done is I want to hear the full story. I want to, because I know that there's one side, the other side, and truth, and it's for me to determine where that truth lies, and also hold all parties involved accountable. So I never have wanted him to feel like he was just right just because that's my son. No, you was wrong. You were wrong in this instance, and this is why you got this reaction, and this is why you now have this consequence. And so what can we learn from this? How can we grow from this? What will you do better the next time? And that's what we need more of, not you coddling a grown man, because at this point, you can't raise a man. So what are you doing now? You're doing this grown man a disservice by saying he's done no wrong. This shouldn't have happened. How dare her? She's wrong. You're the father of these kids. I don't like that. And no, you should like it, because what it's doing is it's showing him that you cannot continue this behavior. This behavior is unacceptable. One, and two, that is the mother of your kids. The way that you are handling the mother of your kids, it's not a good look. Would you want a man to handle me this way? She should start reversing now. If the shoe was on the other foot and I was wearing that shoe, how would you want me to be treated? What steps would you have wanted me to take if this was happening to me? And I just feel like her and a few other people are not putting themselves in those shoes and honestly being like, okay, you know what? I would have done the same thing.
Yeah, like I said, people are somewhat blinded by their perception, and they're shaped by their experiences and shaped by their relationships with people. And she obviously has a very close relationship with her son, and it seems like her stance is, I'm going to protect my son at all costs. In this instance, she could not be protecting her son because she's not giving him a chance to really grow. She's keeping him where he is already. So you're not really protecting your son. You're keeping him a little boy.
Yeah, you're enabling him. You're handicapping him. You're enabled him. And again, you cannot raise a man. So the next person is going to have a hard time trying to raise a man whose mother clearly just didn't.
Or maybe she wants him to continue, like I said, to stay in that space. That's the dynamic of their relationship. You know, she can still be that motherly figure and he can still be the little boy, so it protects their relationship where they are.
You could be right.
So a lot of times people want you to stay in that space. It could be consciously or subconsciously. You know, this has always been a dynamic of our relationship. What if this were to change? What if you were to start to stand up? What if you were to, how would that affect me? How would it affect the nature of our relationship? People are normally invested in their relationship with that person. Sometimes it's tough for our friends and our family members to give us true objective advice.
Yeah. But I mean, people know me, because I can dish it, I want to be able to take it too. And so I don't want to be this person that can give, you know, tough love and not be able to take tough love. I think that's very important. And I honor that as well, because that allows me to look outside of myself. We don't always have to agree with certain things, but it also allows us to sit and focus on some things and be like, okay, how can I do some things differently? Like, I'm reflecting on the conversations that I've had, and it doesn't have to be brutal either. You know what I mean? Honesty with compassion. And she could have gave him a lot of honesty, and he could have went home and you know, let it marinate a little bit and started dissecting that conversation and be like, you know what, my mama was right. I got to do better.
Where's Martel's father? Has he been in the picture? I'm just curious.
He hasn't. And you know what? There was a scene that he talked about that relationship, and I just can't remember. I felt like we had touched on one of our videos.
I think we did touch on. I don't think he is as engaged.
Yeah.
And maybe there may be some abandonment issues on that side of things, and his mom doesn't want to seem like she's abandoning him and trying to fill the gap. I don't know. I think it's just so deep.
Even more of a reason to want to raise a man, because you experienced a relationship with a boy. Like, I would hate if my mom handled me that way, because she's doing me a disservice. She is not allowing me to grow in ways that are healthy for me.
Yeah.
But again, like you said, keeping me where I am because maybe it's comfortable in that environment at that level of relationship. Mm-hmm. But at this point now that we have these kids and I've been married and all the rest of the stuff, like, I need to continue growing as a man. Like, I need to continue learning these lessons.
Sometimes people are just addicted to drama. They like the drama of it all. And she seems like a person addicted to drama. Martel's addicted to drama.
Absolutely.
And so by him maintaining where he is, it's going to be a continuation of drama, which they seem to enjoy.
And as we already know, just from the preview, that he is going to fight this by being petty and doing that interview with Tasha K. Mm-hmm. Instead of just being like, you know what, I deserve this because I was doing a lot, and so now how can I be better? Because it's not healthy for the kids.
He's better, not bitter.
Yeah. Like, he's way too bitter. But I'm proud of Melanie for doing what she needed to do to, again, protect herself and protect her family, and also to send this message loud and clear for everyone that I do not want hurt, harm, or danger to come to this man. What I do want is for him to be a better man, to get the help that he needs so he can be good for himself and then good for his kids. Mm-hmm. As we have said plenty of times on the R&D show, it's not about wanting to tear this man down, but it's about wanting to see him learn these valuable lessons, grow past what he's been doing so that he can be better for himself and then better for his kids, and then also have a better relationship with the mother of his children.
That's it.
Because that's just all. And I think that we need to see this. Yeah. We need to see this on a network like OWN, where majority.
We're rooting for you, Martel, to change, to grow. We're not supporting your bad behavior, but we're rooting for you to evolve, be a better man, be a better father, and so.
Because anybody's capable of redemption. I feel like, you know, we're all complex people. Nobody is perfect. We've all done things that we're not proud of. So how dare any of us to really point fingers and just judge and condemn somebody to hell? You know, we cannot like people's action and behaviors, and we cannot agree with a lot of things that they do. And we can also be upset at some of this stuff, but there's always space to grow. However, if someone chooses not to grow, me as a person, I choose to not deal with those types of people, and that's just my choice. I don't wish any ill will, but you have no place in my life. You don't serve a valuable place in my life, and you kind of like don't exist in my world. But that doesn't mean that I hope you don't go and get help, because you do need the help for yourself, not for me. But
you like just get help over there.
Yeah, stay over there, and God bless and good riddance, and whatever that is. It's true though, and so that's just where it's at. Let's make a turn into Destiny being back on the show, and completely just diving into her not liking the fact that her producer is now engaged to her ex, Moses. And this is probably the ex that she talked about at her final reunion, when she said she was in a relationship and Carlos wanted her to start sharing the relationship, and clearly he wasn't ready to share the relationship. And now she ain't in a relationship no more with this man, and now he is in the relationship with the producer.
I think it's foul. One, because you guys had a work relationship and you confided certain information into your producer, and for her to go then and date the person you're with, and then to marry the person that you were confiding it about too, it's just hard. And I also know there's a girl code, there's a man code. You don't marry your friends' exes.
But were they friends? They weren't friends though.
They said they was trying to build a friendship. Okay. Destiny said they was building a friendship, and she told her that she loved her and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. So they were working towards it. They were close enough for them to use the word love. So they were working towards that. But I think it's pretty foul. But you can't help who you fall in love with. And if you're gonna fall in love with someone, at least have the conversation. At least talk to the person. Both of them could have had a conversation with Destiny.
Especially if you were saying we might be cousins.
Yeah.
That didn't help the situation. Yeah. If you're saying, hey, there's a possibility we might be cousins, so maybe y'all hung out all together at one point in time.
So this is a Ralph and Courtney situation, like on Housewives of Atlanta? Is Courtney really Ralph's cousin?
Or did you just want to be on the show?
Or y'all got something else going on?
But I can understand the bitter taste in Destiny's mouth when it comes to the situation. I guess the producer kind of feels like, I don't owe you any loyalty. We didn't have like a real friendship. I was just your producer. But on the flip side of that, since each one of them are assigned their own producer, as you've already stated, I'm telling you this information about myself, my love life, and all these things to see what we're gonna film, to see what information that you can, pull out of me to go on film. I don't know, it's a sticky situation. It seems dirty. Well, basically, we just got to see how it plays out, right?
We didn't know how it plays out.
On the rest of the season, how is it going to play out? Like, how does Moses show up in this situation, and what's his point of view? And we've kind of seen how Sunny is, reacting to all of this. She just feels like we were never friends like that. Like, I was your producer, and that was it.
Yeah, and that's a work relationship.
Yeah,
and that's a relationship where you have to confide personal information in. And so I think it would cross the line.
Yeah, I think the more that we heard her talk about the situation, the more it was kind of like raising red flags, like this was messy.
Yeah.
Probably not a good idea and very messy, but
at least have the conversation. I'm starting to feel this way. How do you feel about it?
Yeah.
At least have the conversation.
Absolutely.
I think that's the thing. You can't really help who you're attracted to, who you fall in love with, but let's have a conversation about it. That's where my issue is with the whole thing.
Yeah. So we'll keep watching and see how that plays out. And let's end this Melan Mondays with the millimeters. So we got a glimpse of how the cast feels about the millimeters. From Tisha, and it's very interesting, their point of view, and this could be based off of their interaction or some of the things that they've come across that have been said about them, which isn't the some of the best things, because of course, when you have a fan club of people, they're going to ride for the person that they're the fan of. And so any of your, behavior, your actions toward that person, they're going to pick it apart and they're going to have strong opinions about it. But the way that she articulated the way that she feels about them, and I think Destiny agreed as well, it wasn't the best. It wasn't the best, right?
It wasn't the best.
It wasn't the best.
It wasn't the best.
And so I wonder if she'll go into detail why her opinion is so strong, because she didn't want to go and support the podcast with Carlos and Melody, because she said, oh, the Melodies is going to be there, and those are some nasty people, pretty much, like not the nicest people. In my experience, was totally different. So it's very interesting.
It's been always totally different.
My experience at Mimosas with Melody was amazing. Positive energy.
But I know on this specific podcast, we've gotten some backlash by some of the things we just said, encouraging Martel to grow and be a better person, and kind of have been attacked because of that.
So we have been attacked before.
So I don't paint any group broadly. So that could be just one person's opinion.
Right. And
we've generally had positive experiences with the millimeters. But I'm not gonna let one person's experience, one deranged person, whatever, affect my perception of everybody else, so the entire group of people. So I even have a colleague, she's a millimeter. She loves us. She's amazing, and she's positive and she's empowering, and so I'm not gonna paint a broad brush. But we've had one or two negative interactions, but you're gonna have that with any group of people, and so I'm not gonna stereotype and just paint a broad brush with everyone that way, because for the most part, we both had positive experiences.
Absolutely, and I think that's kind of what she's done, is based off of some people's strong opinions about her, the nastiness that may have come out of their mouth and the things that they've said on social media. She just feels like everybody is the same. I do not feel that way, and as you just said, we've had, a few comments that weren't the nicest, just because they wanted us to damn Martel to hell, and when we're not here to do that. We're not here to put anybody in heaven or hell. What we're here to do is to promote mental health. We're here to promote, positivity. We're here to promote growth and spirituality, and we're here to promote just kindness. I always say, and it's in the end of my email as well, is be kinder than necessary, for everyone you meet is fighting a battle. And we may not all be fighting the same type of battle, but we all have a battle that we're fighting on a daily basis. So for us to even feel like we have a heaven or hell to put anybody in would be a terrible thing to do, because when you're pointing one finger, there's 1, 2, 3 pointing back at you. So you have to be very careful of the fingers that you point at other people, because you're always going to have more fingers pointing back at you than that one that's pointing at someone else. And I wish she would have went more into detail why she feels so strongly about the millimeters, because I think the millimeters are amazing. I do love them. And even if you do have a strong opinion that you don't agree with, I think there's a way to articulate that without, being hurtful, without being nasty and mean. And so I didn't feel offended by the strong opinions that we got in the comments when we spoke up for wanting Martel to go to therapy and to be a better man for himself and for his kids. It was just weird to me that we were being attacked. That was it, by a few people, but that's just a few people. There's always going to be a few crabs in the bucket that want to pull somebody down.
That's it.
And that's just how that works. But we're huge supporters of Melody, and anybody that watches the DaR&D show knows that we love and we support Melody, and we only want the best for her. She knows this herself, and so we're not going to please everybody at the end of the day.
We're not going to please everybody, and we really want the best for Melody, but we want the best for everybody.
Absolutely.
On this show.
Absolutely.
But we just, in this instance, this situation has continued with Martel and Melody. It's been at the forefront of the show, and so this, we're team Melody here.
Yeah, we definitely are. there's no other team to be on except for the winning team.
Yeah.
And, being on the winning team feels good. It would be tough to be black men on a team where we're seeing another black man that is doing a disservice. And it's kind of like, why would we want to promote that? That would be, then you can attack us. Yeah. Then we can understand the frustration and the anger, because it's like, we expected something different from y'all. Two educated black men who have a platform, and you're using this to promote negativity. Like, no, what we're going to promote is what's right and what's wrong, and what's wrong is Martel has been doing things all wrong, but we want him to start doing things right. Hopefully one day he'll wake up and be like, you know what, it's not worth it.
Yeah, and I think also we got to be careful of, as fans of people, I know we have our own past experiences and our past hurt, for us to not let that play out when we're attacking other people, because we're coming from a place where we were hurt and we haven't healed, to make sure that we're in a space of that we've done our work and we've continued to heal. So when we do interact with maybe a cast member that disagrees with the person that you love or that you really care about, or whose side you're on, that you're coming at it from a place of not just personal hurt for what has happened to you, and then you putting that onto that other person.
You're absolutely right, because I can have a strong opinion about someone, and then I can meet them, and I'm not going to go in on them. You know what I mean? I may have a strong opinion from watching what I see on television, but I can meet them in person. They could be totally different from, my experience of them on television. And
because we had a strong opinion of Marlo, and then we've interacted with the one time, and it was surprising. It was very pleasant.
Yeah.
It was a really, really nice, pleasant interaction. It was like, wow, okay. Not to say none of the other stuff is true, but our interaction with her was really nice and pleasant. So.
You worked on that. There have been a few people that I've been like, oh no, and then you meet them in person, it's like, oh, okay. So this is maybe your TV persona to be this, come off this way because this is the role that you're playing. But again, just like you said, a lot of times people, and I've said this before, react and or respond from the level of their healing or from the level of their trauma. Mm-hmm. And we just have to be careful, the way that we show up and the things that we say, because we don't have to agree to everything and like everything. But at the end of the day, say something that's going to be positive, say something that's going to give somebody a think piece to be like, you know what, I could have handled that different. I could have showed up, to that scene or said this, or just give them a little something, because I'm good at doing that on Twitter. If I don't agree with something, I'll add the person too. Like, I just feel like you could have showed up in a different way. Like you really could have had that conversation different, or you could have articulated that different. I didn't like the nastiness of it all. I didn't agree with the energy that you gave because it wasn't not warranted. So I think that that's okay to express that, but again, we just have to be careful of how we articulate things in the language that we use. But we love the millimeters, and we're rooting for this to be hopefully a good season of Love and Marriage, Huntsville, and hopefully a season that we don't get too much of the Melanie Martel stuff, but we get Melanie living her best life, and we hopefully get to see him transitioning into some type of help.
Yeah, I agree.
And turning a new leaf.
Yeah, you see growth. That's what we want to see.
That's what we want to see. So we appreciate y'all for tuning in to Melan Mondays on the R&D show.
Yeah.
Drop down in the comments. Let us know what y'all think about everything that we said, and also what you think about the first episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 8. And we'll see y'all again here very soon. So until next time, make sure that you... Oh, before we go,
okay,
I want to say happy Teacher Appreciation Week to all of the teachers, the staff, anybody that is in a school, because it takes everybody to be a village for these children to make this school run the way that it does. And so thank you. I appreciate you. We appreciate you. Without y'all, we wouldn't be here, because besides our parents, you guys spend the most time teaching us how to, write, how to read, how to do math, how to even use the electronics that we have. And I'm grateful to be in that position going on 10 years. And I'm grateful to just have the passion that I have for teachers and for the students. So happy Teacher Appreciation Week. And also, if anybody want to, give me anything for Teacher Appreciation Week, let me know. I can give you my my cashapp, my Zelle, so all amazing gifts are appreciated. Anything is appreciated. But also May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And so we want to make sure that we are checking in on ourselves first, checking in on our strong friends, checking in on our in-between friends, checking in on our friends that have, problems, and checking in on family. We want to make sure that we're doing the work that needs to be done. If you feel like you need to go talk to a therapist or a counselor and you have a pretty great job, look into your employee assistance program. They offer free sessions, at least 3 free sessions a year, where you can go and sit and talk to a therapist just to unpack. So happy Mental Health Awareness Month to everyone. This is your time to check in on yourself and everyone else. And I think this is also Women's Month too, right? So it's a lot going on, I believe. Or is it March was Women's Month? I don't know. There's a lot going on in May. But
I think church is Women's Month.
At church,
Dream Center
at our church is Women's Month because it's Mother's Day on Sunday. And so May
at Dream Center.
And
Pastor Danielle Murphy did her thing.
She did.
This Sunday. She did an amazing job.
Shout out to her.
Yeah.
Because June is.
She talked about taking up space.
She did.
Telling women to take up your space.
She did.
You deserve a seat at the table. And not only a seat at the table, but your voice to be heard at the table.
Yeah.
So take up that space.
Absolutely. Take up space, ladies.
Yeah.
And take up space, man. I mean, you deserve to be in the room. Take up the space in that room. So, again, thank y'all so much for tuning in. And till next time, take care of yourself and each other.
Deuces.
Peace.